Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. I'm a commando from the United Kingdom, and today we're going to talk about Ukraine. We've got another update for you guys. We're going to focus a little bit today on the fact that Russia has denied sabotage on the Nord Stream. So it's the gas and pipelines basically that run from Russia. They go and feed all the way through to Germany and beyond that point. We've got a bit of information coming out because there's a fourth leak being revealed today. There's been teams with underwater drones who have investigated that there could be another leak out there, but it could take a week or so before it is safe enough to actually begin certain reconnaissance missions of the water systems there. You can imagine it's going to be quite dangerous going under there as these pipelines are exposed in the sea. But Russia has denied that it is sabotaged those pipelines. Yeah, I know there's a lot of information on this. You guys have actually mentioned to me in the comments quite a lot about this. So we're going to get into that today, guys. But let's do this. Before we do, if you can smash that like, share, and subscribe to the channel, it's really going to help me out, guys. But yeah, I want to see loads of comments below. So what we got then? We've got a picture here that basically annotates what we've just been talking about. Now, a fourth leak has been reported on the Nord Stream gas pipeline. Swedish Coast Guard told newspapers Svenska it had found the leak on Nord Stream 2 earlier this week. So that's the second pipeline, I believe. It comes after 3 other leaks were reported on the pipelines which run from Russia to Germany. And if you think about it, it's going to be quite interesting to see how this develops as we get closer to winter and the weather gets a lot colder. You know, people are. I don't want to scaremonger people, but you know, we obviously need these pipelines to be in place to fuel people's houses and stuff. I'm not, you know, we can forget about the industry and stuff like that. We need to look a little bit closer to home, all right, and the people that's going to be affected. It's not looking good, really. Now, they run from Russia to Germany, but sabotage is expected. That is the causation of these leaks. Okay, and it's easy to throw and speculate different things, what's going to happen, but it's suspected that that's what happened. That they were sabotaged, and two of the 4 pipelines are in Sweden's exclusive economic zone. Coast Guard spokesperson Jenny Larsson told the newspaper the other 2 are in Denmark zone. So we've got Sweden and then the other 2 Denmark. Yeah, them 2 countries are not going to be happy about that, guys. That's for sure. A British defence source told Sky News, take it as you want, guys, for the news outlets that we're talking about. This is just the information that I'm going off. Told Sky News that they were likely premeditated attacks using underwater explosives. They said that the mines could have been lowered on a long line, dropped over a boat, or placed next to the pipelines with an underwater drone. Now, the key takeaway for that is they said the mines could have been lowered on a long line, dropped over a boat, or placed next to the pipelines with an underwater drone. Yeah, they could have, of course. They could have also been dropped out of a plane. They could have been, you know, swam from shore to the drop zone. There's endless possibilities of what could have happened, guys. So that's why I don't want to speculate on this. We're just going off the information that's available. As simple as that. Now, the European Union also believes sabotage is to blame, but Russia has said accusations it is responsible and are predictable and stupid. So, you know, they have a right to defend themselves at the end of the day. Let's try and have a non-biased approach to this. It's easy to point the blame, and it's also easy to deny. So one thing's for sure, we're never going to really get to the actual truth on this one, I think. Now, its foreign ministry also claimed the leaks occurred in an area controlled by United States intelligence, according to RIA Novosti news agency. So that's interesting. Neither of the pipelines were in use at the time of the suspected explosions, but they were still filled with gas that has been spewing into the sea. So we do need to look at the natural disaster in this, okay? And I'm not sure what effect it's having on the local wildlife within those areas, but you best believe it's not going to be a good thing, really, okay? So yeah, these it's a shame. It's a shame beyond belief, all right? There's going to be a lot of naturists going crazy over this, and, you know, rightfully so. It's they've got gas spewing into the ocean. It's not great. Nord Stream 2 runs from Russia to Germany. and has been due to carry gas to Europe until Russia invaded Ukraine. Germany refused a license. The first leak was detected on Monday morning, about 14 miles, 23 kilometers southeast of Denmark's Bornholm Island. I don't think it's annotated on this map here, Bornholm Island. Can't seem to, yeah, it's not on there. But on Tuesday this week, 2 more leaks were reported on the parallel Nord Stream 1, which runs, it runs parallel to it. Obviously, it won't be right next to it for safety provisions as well, in the event of terrorism and stuff like that. So, and today the Swedish Coast Guard revealed that there were in fact 4 leaks. So they've suspected this leak happening, and then upon investigating, they've had a closer look and found, wow, there's 4 leaks here. Right, these pipelines are inactive anyway in certain parts, but they're rendered useless in a major ways now. Okay. Sweden's National Seismology Centre said powerful subsea blasts were recorded in the area the leaks occurred. Jean Lund, a seismologist with Uppsala University, told broadcaster SVT, there is no doubt that these were explosions. So we're talking about smart individuals now who are talking, there was seismic waves detected. They're there for a reason, to detect certain things, mainly natural disasters. But in this case, it's picked up an explosion. So it's suspected, but there's a lot of evidence pointing towards an explosion. Now, who's to blame for that? I'll let you guys put your thoughts and feelings in the comments, all right? In response, Norway has said its military will be more visible and its own oil and gas installations, more visible at its own oil and gas installations. So is this, as a result, are we going to see a lot more security within the gas and oil industry in general? I know quite a few guys who work in the industry, and there's relevant security provisions in place for certain areas, but I don't think the provisions security wise are that high in these areas. Okay, we're talking normally in and around Africa, where the security visions changed drastically. Okay, because of the nature of the business over there. But it's something that I'm not too familiar with this area, but I don't think the security provisions will be that high. Certainly not nowhere near as high as the African continents and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting, troops. Are we going to see close protection operatives actively guarding areas of interest? Possibly. Are we going to see private military contractors within these areas? Are we going to see a natural presence of the seas with the navies and the marines of these countries? Probably, special forces, I know, mainly take the counter-terrorism role in pretty seriously within certain areas of here, specifically Norway, certainly the British Isles. But yeah, this is going to create and generate a lot of influx of activity, that's for sure. Because as it gets closer to Christmas, the gas lines, the Nord Streams are going to be vital to keeping people warm at the very, very least. Okay, so Nord Stream, it's this thing's going to be pretty substantial in terms of news going forward. That's why I wanted to speak to you guys today about it, because I think we're going to be hearing quite a lot more about this subject, troops. So yeah, now Danish Foreign Minister Jeppe Kofod, pronunciation again probably is terrible, said that the damage to the pipelines was international, not an accident, and that it should concern the whole of Europe. I'm with him on that one. I'm with that opinion. This is unprecedented. We have seen that kind of attack, a sabotage on critical European energy infrastructure. It comes at a time when the cost of living is just went through the bloody roof. It's absolute fortune to heat your homes now. We haven't even entered the cold months, all right, and people are already complaining, and rightfully so, of their energy bills being absolutely extortionate. So, yeah, this is monumental, guys. In many ways, in a different way, it's more monumental than what's happening in Ukraine. And I'm not trying to take anything away from that. It's equally as bad and potentially could have more severe consequences globally, specific to Europe. All right, this is not good, that's for sure. Now, we do not take this very easy. It's something we are working closely on with allies in the EU and NATO, said the Danish Foreign Minister. Now, Mr. Kofod stressed it was important to allow investigations to take place before blaming people, really. I agree with that massively. I'm not just a former commando. I'm also a former investigator, service police investigator for the Ministry of Defence, and I understand that you can't just point fingers and blame. You've got to have sufficient evidence first before you do that, and you need to conduct your investigations accordingly. That being said, how the media is given things is the blame does seem to have been already concluded upon. All right, we know. We're not going to say who to blame myself, but you just have to read the headlines and we can see quite clearly who they're pointing the blame at. So although I agree with that statement, the statement isn't being acted upon and respected, so to speak. Experts say teams with underwater drones will likely be sent to investigate, getting eyes on there, is precise, but that it could take a week or so before it's safe enough to do so. Alex Rossi said that there are still some doubts. He's a Sky's News correspondent, or she, I'm not too sure, about whether Russia would really resort to damaging the pipelines through which it sells gas. That's a really interesting point. Why would Russia damage the very pipelines in which it generates income from, and a huge income? So, and maybe it's easy to point the blame at Russia, but let's look at it from the other side. Would it be easier to point the blame at Russia and then, another country who's not Russia do that to cause problems with their economy? They're not selling. It works two ways. The people suffer at the likes of my end, but Russian economy is damaged, prohibiting the effective movement and on their infrastructure in the Ukraine war. All right, without money coming in, they can't pay people. It all works down. All right, so who knows who's responsible for this? But one thing's for sure: there's a lot of people, a lot of parties, a lot of countries going to be affected in very different ways. Okay. But yeah, it's an interesting concept, that, guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Would Russia purposefully damage the pipelines in which it sells gas and makes money from? I don't know. A part of me doesn't want to think so, but a big part of me would also not put it past them as well. He also said, Alex Rossi also said, although you can see a benefit for the Russians in the sense that it makes energy prices go up, which it certainly does, and we've seen that predicted months ago, it also creates political instability in European countries that are supporting Ukraine. It also is a bit of an also a bit of an own goal, as he describes it, because they're Russia's pipelines. So I'm going to hurt you, but in the process, I'm hurting myself. Doesn't really hurt as much because you've hurt yourself. So it's a weird one. This Vladimir Putin could also just turn the taps off. He doesn't have to destroy the infrastructure. He could just go, nah, you're not having any. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to blow up infrastructure, as this article is stating. So, yeah. Honestly, guys, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know what to make of that, but I might do another video straight after this on something more map-worthy on Ukraine. But if you have made it this far, drop a like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see more content relating to Ukraine like this, but it's just an update, then yeah, let me know, troops. I'm all ears. I'm happy to do what you want me to do. But that's the Nord Stream pipelines. Kind of a map study on there, but not that much. All right, a bit more information, a bit more news. But what do you think, guys? Is this Russia's fault, or was it sabotage from another country? Let me know in the comments.